So, Jason, how did you get the opportunity to be the motion capture actor for Leon S. Kennedy? How and when did Capcom get in touch with you?
Well, it was actually a good couple years ago. I had come in and read for a couple of different projects over the years and never could quite get them. So I kept thinking, what am I doing wrong with this motion capture stuff? But a couple years ago, Ruben Langdon, who I worked with on Power Rangers, had reached out to me and had me come and audition for this. And it was just something that went well. So they reached out, we got the part, and the rest is history.
How much do you know about Leon, and what do you think about the character?
You know, coming in, I didn't know anything, to be honest. Once I had gotten the part, of course, that's when your research begins. You start to look at the previous games, and of course, Capcom was great about showing us previous footage, so we were really in touch with what the character was. But he's a born leader. I mean, it's a character that you'd love to play. He's very forthright in what he does. He's just a born leader. So, great guy to be able to play.
Do you think you have anything else in common with Leon?
I'd say the only thing we don't have in common is I probably can't shoot a gun like he can. But in terms of personally, I think that growing up, I've always been someone who's been a leader, someone who's always tried to take charge of every situation. And I think that's pretty much the most common theme with him in terms of how he handles situations. He tries to stay cool under pressure. And I guess I can't always say that I'm like that, but that's what I strive to be like in life as well. So pretty much those would be the things I would be most in common with him.
Have you ever played any Resident Evil games? If so, do you have any favorite characters?
Up until this time, I was very, very familiar with the franchise. I had not actually played the game. Now that 6 has come out, I was able to play some of the demo down in San Diego, and it looks amazing. So coming into it, wasn't as familiar. Seeing it now, favorite characters. I mean, it has to be Leon. How could I say any different? But if I had to choose someone else, I'd probably go with Chris Redfield. I mean, he's been a staple character in this franchise, and if I had to choose someone besides Leon, it'd definitely be Chris.
Could you tell us a little bit about the motion capture process, and have you done this before?
You know what, this was actually my first time, and I found the process extremely unique, but it was a ton of fun. What was unique about it is that all my training in the background, if you're doing theater, everything's projected out to this way. If you're doing film, you've got to find the lens, and you're very, very isolated in a box. But here, what I thought was pretty neat is being surrounded by all these cameras. Every action you play gets picked up, which allows you to be very free as an actor. So first time I've done it, but I love the process because it kind of lets the whole scene play out. Capcom was very specific on certain mannerisms of Leon, which I love. They knew what they wanted, and they wouldn't accept anything until you actually got it perfect. One of the things that we talked about, and I'll get up and show it, is the way that Leon positioned his gun and his stance that he did it. So everything was very, very upright in what he does. So no matter every time he pulled the gun, it couldn't be slouched, it couldn't be like this. Everything had to be this way every time. And I loved it because they were specific on it, and if we didn't get it perfect that time, we did it again. So that was one of the main mannerisms that they wanted to make sure Leon always stayed true to throughout the filming, was that gun posture.
Leon is one of the most beloved characters in RE franchise. Were you aware of that at the time you started this work? And how much pressure did you feel in order to make a good job with Leon's moves in RE6?
Coming into it initially, no. But of course, once I got the role, it was quickly communicated to me exactly what we were dealing with. So I don't know so much as pressure. Obviously, I come with a game plan. I research it the best I can. You know your lines coming in. And I think that working with the directors that we did, there was an open line of communication and a lot of trust that you would try something and they would redirect you if they needed. But that was it was a good process where I wouldn't call it pressure because everyone was just so friendly and supportive in the process.
And how strict was the Capcom team on set?
Strict, but again in a supporting way. They knew the way they wanted Leon to walk. They knew his mannerisms. They knew the way he wanted to hold a gun like before. Going to the gun range and handling the weapons to really get a feel for things. I've never shot guns like those before, so doing that extra little step to really familiarize you with the character. So they were strict, but again, it was in a supporting way, so everyone felt comfortable in terms of getting it right.
Have you seen the live-action movie starring Mila Jovovich? And what do you think of the Leon in the movie version?
I have not seen it yet, but it's something I'm going to see here in the next week. I'm excited to see it. I've heard a lot of great things. So as of yet, I have not. But again, I've heard it done great things. Obviously, with Paul Thomas Anderson directing it, and I'm a huge fan of a lot of his work. So it's going to be hard to miss on something like that, and it's going to be a ton of fun to watch.
Can you tell us about your future projects?
Right now, I've been doing a lot of print and modeling work. That's what kept me pretty busy the last few months. We're also filming a web series called No Nerds Here. Lately, with one of the previous projects I did, Power Rangers, they're flying us all over the world to do appearances for that. So this show is the story of, kind of filmed like the show The Office, that focus on 3 characters and their situations they come across at these conventions. They're heightened versions of our characters, but it's a 6-episode web show that we're filming now to release sometime in the next probably 3 or 4 months. So that's the project we're working on right now.
Can we expect to see you making Leon's moves again in future Resident Evil games?
Well, I guess that depends if they make future Resident Evil games, but hopefully they will, and if they do, I would love to be able to come back and play Leon again. It was a great experience being a part of this whole process and an honor. So if that does happen, I would jump at the chance, and I hope to jump back in that motion capture suit.
Message to the fan of Leon S. Kennedy.
I would say that it was an honor to play this character. It was a ton of fun. You guys are going to absolutely love this game. There's a zillion surprises in here, so enjoy it. I hope you enjoy what I did with the character, and have fun. Stay tuned. This is mocap actor Jason Faunt, Leon S. Kennedy in Resident Evil 6, and you are watching, gonna double check that,
I'm gonna rolling.
Resident TV, Resident Evil Database. Okay. Stay tuned. This is mocap actor Jason Faunt from Resident Evil 6. I play Leon S. Kennedy, and you are watching Resident TV at Resident Evil Database. That's not right.
Yeah, that was right.
Let me do one more, though.
Okay.
Resident TV by Resident Evil. Okay. Stay tuned. This is mocap actor Jason Faunt, Leon S. Kennedy in Resident Evil 6. And you are watching Resident TV by Resident Evil Database.